Hi, Brian Whitens filling in for Buck. Well, spring is sprung and summer is here. Most activities this time of year include brats, beer, and a lawn chair. Fall is the furthest thing from our mind. Is it too soon to start thinking about fall? For some, now is the time to start preparing. Then it's a trip to Escanaba for the UP Trappers Convention and Outdoor Expo. That's all tonight, right here on Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
It's the middle of summer. Thoughts of fishing, camping, and the smell of charcoal and brats are at the forefront of our thoughts. Signs of fall have not even begun to develop in the forests of the UP or even in our imagination. But for some,
go left to right.
The corner that fall is right around is much shorter. And as for their better halves, you can see it in their eyes. They're anxious and they're ready to prove what they can do. Today there'll be no fishing, no cookouts. Today it's time to think fall. Think geese and ducks. Grab the gear, set out the decoys, set up the launchers, take a leak, and get ready. Today it's time to train.
Yeah, nice, pretty nice straight line for a young dog. Now she's going to use her nose. Sometimes that dummy launcher, they see that dummy launcher, they freeze up and they don't necessarily like that. But she did a good job going through that high grass, going around trees, and boom. We're just getting ready for waterfowl season, whether it's on land or water, for September, October, and November. And we're just starting to introduce concepts of the decoys with the younger dogs and also just kind of reaffirm it for the older dogs. We're going to run simple singles, but really they're not all that simple because you have some geographical situations that can occur. So if you have a dog that's sitting down here, to be able to see what the dog sees, you have to get down here. So a launcher is going to go and drop down. They won't see it really hit. It'll just disappear. And then we're going to go a little bit of a longer one. We're not going to try to go too long today. And then another one in the higher grass. So basic concepts to really challenge the younger dogs and then get the older dogs a little bit more solid in their head because they kind of lose that memory. Mark, Elsa. Awesome. This time of year, generally we do yard work, so I have a cut field here, and I work with the younger dogs just to get things solid in their mind. The older dogs also. For a young dog, that's difficult because you got short grass and you got this ridge of high weeds and you got a series of decoys. You got a white flag bag, so that's really a good job. Beginning of July, we start working with the decoys. Progress at doing long blinds, longer marks, some shorter ones because a lot of birds fall right in the decoys. And then we'll work in layout blinds towards the end of July, early August, and to get into doing multiple marks and craziness with the shotgun. So you have 2 or 3 people with 2 dogs and you're shooting a bunch of ducks and geese, and the dogs have to mark it and they have to share. So that's what we're working for. Good job with that one. Okay, when you say mark, that's to look straight forward. So when the guy's standing right here, dog's supposed to be looking this way. So if you were to rotate that dog, you'd say heel, then they're going to look in this general periphery vision for anything flying low or high to get that retrieve. And that takes some focus, and then you'll notice usually it's 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, maybe even 5 seconds that we release them to get them to concentrate on that spot. They'll get so far and then their nose takes over. But you want them to mark it, get that bird back as quickly as possible, because you know there's lots more birds to shoot and obviously miss. But you want to get it efficient back here. We have an 11-year-old female in Kenya. Obviously that's pretty old for a retriever, so we're not going to go too hard on her. There she goes. I like hunting dogs in general, so I mean, I think bear dogs, hounds are unreal. I mean, their attitude that they have going after a 400-pound bear or 300-pound bear, going through the bush, getting porcupine quills, all that, that's tough. So I really enjoy them. I enjoy the pointers, the springers. I just happen to love Chesapeakes. So there's a lot of good dogs out there, and it just all based on what you like. So to say, you know, one breed's better than the other is just really foolish. I think there's lots of different breeds out there, and I enjoy them all. And that's why Kevin and I get along so well. He's got the goofballs, the kind of the clowns, but the Chessie's a little bit more of a weird attitude about things, but yet there are a lot of similarities between the two. You have to really make things fun or they hate it.
Hold that. Okay, kill it. Okay, good girl. Drop. Good girl. All right, good job. Good job. Good job.
Chopper. There's a higher level, which is the field trials. Run a pretty nice line. I've been to a couple fields. I haven't run a dog. It takes a lot of dedication, but everything starts, your training starts on the same path.
Good girl. Hey.
So whether you're hunting, doing hunt tests, or going field trials, you try to run the same thing, and then you get later on in the training, it gets more precise. With the blind retrieve could be 400, 500 yards away, which is crazy, and I don't have time to train precision, and they'll mark points off if they go off the line. But I mean, we have hunting dogs, so we like to grouse hunt and woodcock hunt. Mark. Chopper. And I'm trying to count to 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and vary it so they get locked on intervals, so you want to try to split it up. Good girl, holy cow. And she likes to take her time coming back. Good girl. No more cameraman business. Oh boy. Here. That is just not right. Here. That's pretty funny. The obedience thing is probably the most important thing for a retriever. Just like for any dog.
Chopper.
I want to get her right on this. At first she wasn't really focused. She couldn't see that black, but I think she's running a nice line. You can see how the hill screws them up a little bit. All the dogs gone to the right. Now we got a little stink, smell a duck. Try to get duck scent on it. And now she's gonna hunt and hopefully not give up on this. We've had trouble before kind of going down in this bowl. And I think she's got it. A month ago, she would run towards the dummy launcher. So you introduce new things to dogs and you never know. Good girl. Good girl. You start with the discipline part, and then you just throw small marks, and you don't do like 100 retrieves in a day. 3 or 4, because you know how puppies are. They'll run back, and after 30 seconds, they want to move something else. So you just want it to be positive, and then when they get older, kind of evaluate, oh, this dog's a little bit farther along than my other dog, so I'll do this. I'll push the limit a little bit more, push it. So you got to kind of read the dog, and every dog is different of every breed. They're going to mature differently. He always likes to go ahead. Always been that way since he's a puppy. Yes, sir, we're ready. Mark. Stay. Sky. Yeah, he's a freight train and there's nothing beautiful. It just runs right through everything. Good boy. Get you behind this tree. Yeah. Yeah. And little stuff like this, just lets you know he's running a program. Here. Always been that way since he's a puppy. Here. Holy cow. Now he takes a little long. Out. That's why we love him, and he's taught me patience. It's like a junior high kid. That's all right. Sky! Chesapeakes have a lot of hound in them. Way back when in the 1800s, they bred them with whatever, as long as they could retrieve, so they got a little bit of a attitude. The females are a little bit more mellower, and the males, like this guy, he's kind of a high end, runs his own show generally. I just try to cooperate. What is that? Oh. All right, now we're gonna go a long one. Mark. Sky. He just loves to run through stuff.
Don't miss the Woodtick Music Festival in Hermansville, Michigan. 4 days of great bluegrass, country, folk, blues, and rock and roll. Over 25 bands, fun for the entire family. Carry-ins welcome kids 12 and under free. Buy your tickets and campsites and find out everything you need to know online at woodtickfestival.com. That's woodtickfestival.com. The Woodtick Music Festival in Hermansville, Michigan.
You want me to go along?
No, I'll walk her out first.
Mark. She's really paddling hard. See that? Yeah, she's moving quick. She's making a wake.
All right, here, Altamay. Here, Altamay. Good girl. Lots of encouragement to a young dog. You do it. Come on. Get up. Here. Heel up. Heel up. Heel. Hold. Drop. Good girl. Mark. Mark.
Okay, going right past that white decoy. Oh, I try to have a white decoy out here. Then it's a snow goose. Sometimes, especially younger, the dogs, they'll go to the goose decoys or they'll go to any of the decoys, but especially a white object like that and think that's where the bird should be falling, so they'll go to it, so you use that for a kind of a diversion. So I got tons of decoys all over, and some of them have white bodies, depends on what kind of decoy they are, to draw them away from where the mark. You're trying to confuse the dog as much as you can. I mean, early stages, not as much, but as much as you can by August. So when you have a real hunting scenario where it's crazy, a bunch of ducks are falling, if you're fortunate enough to shoot that many, it can really mess a dog up. Yep. Stay. Chopper. Good girl. Right, you might have sticks underground, so you'd rather have a dog that goes a little bit gingerly in there, feels out the bottom so it doesn't get skewered. I like the way this dog does it and Kevin's dogs. I have two males that like to do big air, but I can't change it. Good girl. Fun to watch, but it's not fun to watch them get hurt. Here. What a beauty. She is a diva. So here I am. Oh. Okay, what we're working on is doing blind retrieves. I have two orange dummies out there that they're not supposed to be able to see. And I'm going to do whistles and hand signals to get them there. Dead bird. Back! Now you can extend it way out, but practical purposes, that's, I don't know, 50 yards or whatever. There's times when you go duck hunting, they might mark a bird, see it hit, but there might be two other that get knocked down that they don't see, so they have to trust you and take these signals, which takes a lot of work. And that takes a lot of work, Kevin will tell you. It takes like hours and hours and hours, and sometimes you think they'll never get it.
Over.
I never thought I'd ever get a dog to do blinds. And then it's a pretty neat thing to get them to do a blind. Good boy. This time maybe some differences between the breeds. I know like Chesapeake's, the maturity level, it takes a little bit longer than maybe a Lab. Lab can do some great things very early on. And a Chessie takes a few years. Chopper right there is at 2 years of age. And she's starting to show some sign of, hey, I want to do this work. Hey! By the time they're 3, they're really an enjoyable dog to hang out with, and they'd really do some good work. That's what I notice about the Chessies. They're a little, I won't say stubborn, they just have a mind of their own, and you have to encourage them to do what you want to do. Come on. Hey! Make it hard. Here.
That's the teamwork that you and your dog have together. You know, you're a team against the system, hunt tests, the ducks. There's a situation, you work together to solve the problem. You get to meet guys like Rick and Candy, and my wife helps out my kids. It's a family-oriented deal. My kids all throw dummies and launch birds and run the dogs. You go to these hunt tests, you meet a lot of really neat people who are just like you. They love having your kids around. They want to help your kids out. They even have kids tests that our kids go to. It's a teamwork, and it's something the whole family can do together. You accomplish something. It's escape from reality a little bit, I guess. But
the reason why I like working with dogs is, number one, I mean, they're an animal, and they're my favorite. They're my favorite animal, and there's an unbelievable bond when you can do something like this with them. I never thought I could. I couldn't even get my dog to sit and stay off of a shot. Couldn't do blinds, nothing. And it just became infectious. And to be one with a dog, especially on blind retrieves, it is one of the greatest feelings I think I've ever felt. And I know people go, wow, that's crazy. But to work with an animal, to communicate with that animal in a positive way, and to get a job done with getting ducks, that's a pretty beautiful thing that I just love to do.
I had the opportunity to visit the UP Trappers Outdoor Expo, which took place on July 12th and 13th in Escanaba. Hundreds of exhibitors, great speakers from around the country, and a great turnout.
Well, this is our 51st annual. This is the first year we expanded into 2 buildings. We have over 300 tables of vendors, anything to do with the outdoors. It used to be just a Trappers Expo, and we advanced into, there's gun dealers, there's outdoor art, there's just about anything you can imagine. We got kids games, we got F&T Outdoors TV series is here. We got Les Johnson from Predator Quest, the TV series here.
Hi there, I'm Les Johnson, host of Predator Quest Television. I'm up here in Escanaba, Michigan at the UP Trappers Association Convention. I'm up here to teach people how to call predators a little more efficiently. I know it's tough up here in this amazing North Country, but I'm here to lend a few tips, try to get people pumped up, what they can do about calling predators in the wintertime. You're going to have to come down here and check this out sometime when it's here in the future. Next year, the National Trappers Association Convention will be right here in Escanaba, so next year's going to be a huge year. I'll be here then as well. Until then, I'm going to get to calling.
We got Ron Leggett's from Maryland.
They had an interest in my father and I's technology of how we trap and how we make our sets. During the demonstrations, we got the opportunity to meet a lot of nice people up this way, and good country people, people that love the outdoors and love trapping. So it's really making a nice trip. We also sell trapping supplies, and we've wrote books and videos on the subject of how to trap. Today I'm going out here and I'm going to do a coyote demonstration and give a multitude of different styles of sets and different lures that people can use to attract coyotes and foxes into their traps and enjoy the outdoors as much as I have for the last 50 years I've been a trapper. So
we got vendors from Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, New York, Pennsylvania. Harry Taylor came all the way from Maine and did demos.
A fisher and a marten is not trap-wise. You don't really have to boil them. I do just to protect the track.
I came down, my son lives here in Gladstone, and I get invited to come down here and do a couple demos on fisher trapping and marten trapping. We have a convention in Maine, down in Bethel, and it's nothing like this. This is fabulous. You have a great facility, a huge crowd, and I'm tickled to death to be honored to be here and to show what I know of my knowledge of it. We had a great turnout yesterday. We had some great questions on fish trapping, and this afternoon, this morning I should say, later this morning, I'm going to do a demo on marten trapping. But a great bunch of people, everybody I've talked to has been friendly, open, welcome to me, and it's been great. I've really, truly enjoyed it. And I love the sport, and I continue to support all organizations that does with trapping, national and statewide and so forth like that. And I'm honored to be here again. And thank you.
We're growing every year, and it's a UP-wide convention. It's a real good fundraiser for us. We got 26 schools that we pay for their subscription to Fur Fish and Game magazine, and that list keeps going. And then we donate money to different nonprofits throughout the year. At the show today, we got 3 different nonprofit groups. The Animal Shelter in Delta County, they're building a brand new animal shelter. We got Wildlife Unlimited here. The city of Escanaba has just been wonderful at giving us money for advertisement. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors. I know I'm going to forget a few, but Johnson's Distributing, Minks Coca-Cola, Quality Inn and Suites, the Badenoch Business Bureau, Garso Winnicott, McCowan Insurance, UP Whitetails. They've been great with us. We have the Nationals next year, 2014. Every building on the fairgrounds, to my understanding, is pretty much full already, which is 9 buildings. They're expecting 10,000 people to Escanaba for 5 days or 7 days. It's going to be a tremendous show to see.
The difference between this convention and the national convention is obviously the people and the amount of people. We'll have a lot of the big vendors. Some of the big vendors that are here today will be here for the nationals, but we get typically we usually have 300 and some vendor booths that we sell. We'll have 396 vendor booths available at the nationals here next year. So we've got quite a few vendors. So if you're an outdoor enthusiast, and that covers everything from trapping to outdoor supplies. We have some big vendors that carry camping equipment. So it's really for the outdoor enthusiast.
Well, that's our show for this week. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week, right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.